What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to episode 28 of the Dime Meridian Bomb Squad. It's your host, your boy, joined as always by Joshua Delonic Hall, Alex Dragon Wiener Roberts, and Cottrell, unfortunately, is in Seattle. He cannot join us this week, but hopefully he'll be back next week. Couple of interesting things in the news. We'll just hop right into it. What was my first up? Microsoft has introduced a new controller for gamers. I watched a video. I thought that shit looked awesome.
Well, it's super, like
not just for gamers, but for
yeah. No, get Alex, say it.
Yeah, so basically, people with certain disabilities aren't able to use like a traditional Xbox style controller. So Microsoft released like an adaptive controller, I guess, that sort of lets them sort of pick their own components, as far as I understood it. Like, depending on like their disability, if they have like bad motor function in their fingers, they can have like buttons on their foot pedals or something along those lines. And there's a bunch of different options from what I've seen. And actually, this article is way more updated than what I saw, too. So
yeah, it's super malleable. You can change so much to customize this. It's almost like a turntable, but you can like move buttons and switches and shit around, and it's super like comprehensive. It was very impressive to read about.
There's a lot of from the video and this stuff that I see. There's quite a few peripherals that you can iterate with it, which is cool.
Yeah, and it looks like you can about hook anything up to it.
It's
in one of the images,
so it's
in one of the images, somebody has a Wiimote nunchuck hooked up to it.
No, that's awesome.
I didn't even notice that.
I didn't notice that until now. I'm looking at it right now, actually. No, I think that's. Oh, sweet! Look, you can see in the one image it says like Y, X, A, B. It has all the button things for it, like to show you. That's really cool. No, this is cool because, well, one, just the future and the amount of possibilities or opportunities, or doors, or whatever you want to say, that this opens for disabled gamers. And of course, we always like to. I mean, me specifically. I know I always like to make a jab at Microsoft for their lack of innovation, at least personally, I think, in gaming, because Sony's been doing this and Sony's doing that, and Nintendo's doing this and Nintendo's doing that, but Microsoft would be the first one now to do something like this, and I think it would be really cool if they don't keep this for themselves, if that's something that they can share with Sony or share with Nintendo, and all the platforms can get in on this. I think that's something everybody could benefit greatly from.
Well, and it's not necessarily a thing they need to share now. They've just shown to, and maybe not from a market and a money standpoint, but from a humanitarian standpoint.
Exactly.
This is why this was generated. Other companies will do the same, because what this is going to breed is not only a platform for somebody who has disabilities or limitations in movement, but this will breed, I guarantee you, this will create an optimization. Like, there are going to be min-maxers, like my dumbass, that are going to look at this and be like, oh, I can speed everything up I ever want to do because I can customize it based on my own physical movements.
I didn't even think about that.
What it is, I think, is accessibility to, like now, as like a developer or a hardware creator, you can take this like platform and sort of create your own controls. So think about like VR and shit like that. Like things like you're going to be able to like put different like haptic style controllers into this thing, and boom, you have Donkey Konga on the the Xbox. But
and this also yields a price point differential too, because all the unique controllers for folks that have these limitations and disabilities, if you can find one that exists, is incredibly expensive.
Yeah. Oh no, for sure. No, this is great.
I have no doubts that this will still be quite a bit more expensive than like a traditional Xbox controller.
Yeah.
But yeah, at least they're mass marketing it.
Than traditional one, yes. But for the people the audience they're targeting, like Josh just said, the other controllers that are out there are already how expensive anyway. They're already used to spending that type of money, and if Microsoft can make this more affordable than what's already out there, that is a win-win.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of times it's not even a cost issue for the individual, because say somebody gets catharsis or builds or uses learning games, or all these various things that games are used for. A lot of that stuff's covered under their plans. I know I have a buddy who has muscular dystrophy, and he gets most of his peripheral stuff for movement and functionality to use a computer. It gets paid for. He not only is he in a electric wheelchair, but he has this crazy desk setup that is super expensive, and it's all covered.
Oh no, yeah. I didn't think about that. Like, I'm just thinking like gaming, but like this could just help in every aspect of their technology. I'm just reading now. It says on the back, like what I was just talking about, how it has like the display for every like button on the controller. It's saying there's 19 3.5 millimeter jacks, which as of right now, I guess is the standard connection for assistive input devices. So that's really cool.
Yeah, that's what we were looking at before with all the labels on them, so you can plug in anything. Yeah.
No, that's awesome. I hope this takes off. I hope Microsoft continues to support and develop. I mean, obviously they will, but I hope this is something that other companies take note of. Yeah, other developers, and start more forward thinking with that.
Yep.
Oh, that's great. Next up, for you people who still play Pokemon Go, Pokemon Sun and Moon, their special regional styles are heading to the mobile games. Some new Pokemon, the Kanto region. I stopped playing Pokemon after like, I think it was the first gen. I think it was just really the original 151. Yeah, so I don't know any of this new stuff. But they're adding all of it to the game. Apparently, it's still actually got a pretty big following. I found out that a couple of my friends still play like in secret. It's like their guilty pleasure.
Do you mean like Pokemon games in general, or you mean Pokemon?
No, Pokemon Go.
Oh, okay.
No, I know Pokemon is very popular. I'm just talking about the mobile game Pokemon Go.
Right. You're saying you have friends whose guilty pleasure is playing Pokemon.
Yeah, every now and
Go
then, like
still?
I see them whipping out, like, "Are you playing Pokemon Go?" They're like, "Yeah, you know."
It's nothing to be ashamed of, guy. Nothing to be ashamed of.
Oh no! I'm not hating on them. I'm not hating them on them at all. It's just funny because like I just remember that craze. I was swept up in it. I was ooting the boot trying to catch Pokemon, and then like a month later, I didn't give a fuck.
I didn't give a fuck from the beginning.
For sure. Yeah. Josh is too cool.
Nah, Josh is like, my shitty phone battery can't handle this.
That's
no, that's cool that they're still supporting that. Too bad they haven't figured out some sort of deal with Nintendo or whatever to like actually do like really like one-on-one battles. They got some weird raid system. But the whole draw to it was because we were hoping that we could all just like battle each other finally, and that just never happened. Anyway, I'm just gonna move on. Did you guys see the trailer for Call of Duty Black Ops 4?
I did not.
The reveal. It was interesting. First things first, there's no single player campaign in this.
Of course not. Why would they do that? Because God of War didn't prove that single player games are still viable.
Yes, well, we will talk about that later. Actually, no, we'll talk about that later because I do have that written down at the end. But there's no single player campaign, and I guess they're doing like a 3-tiered approach. So obviously, Call of Duty is known for the multiplayer. So multiplayer's back and bigger and badder, and it's it looks fun. It looks fun. I watched the trailer. It looks pretty cool. Next up, they're doing the zombies mode, which is always popular. And it's funny enough, they don't really have a single player campaign, but the way they set up the zombies mode trailer made it seem like there's a zombie campaign, which is interesting. Like you have to go check it out. It seems like there's like some sort of at least structured story to it in the zombie mode. There's 4 playable characters. Each are like You know, you got like some dude with daggers. You got some dude who literally just like uses his fists. I guess that's their specials or something. Some girl who wields
Backpack
pistols.
that explodes.
Yeah, I don't know. And then of course, what we all knew was gonna happen. The third tier is the battle royale mode, and they're calling that blackout.
Of course.
But here's what they're doing differently, which I think could be a literal game changer. They are doing it with land or air and sea as well, which currently, as far as I know, is not in PUBG or Fortnite.
It is not, but let's not go so far as to say it is a game changer.
Well, I think it could be with like
air.
helicopters and boats and shit. I think that's cool.
So PUBG has boats. I don't know
PUBG's
about.
got boats.
Yeah, PUBG's got boats.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, as far as air goes, like, I'm interested to see how that works out. But you know, it seems like something. Again, I mean, same with boats. Really, is like if you see like a vehicle in PUBG, like if there's like a go-kart or something rolling up on you, at least there's like buildings to block and stuff. But like if you fly in on a helicopter, like you're just gonna get shot. But I'd be interested to see how it works out.
Obviously, when it releases, it's not gonna be as balanced as we would all like. You know, I'm sure there's gonna be some like crazy like you just said, like, you know, the helicopter come in and people like, oh no, like we're just gonna shoot you down. I'm sure they'll figure out a way to make everything at least. I hate saying the word viable. Like I feel like a schmuck when I say viable. Like
I mean, you shouldn't, because it's a valid descriptor for something that's.
It's a viable word to use.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know, for some reason when I say
asshole.
viable, I just think I'm a schmuck. No, I every time I think of the word viable, it goes back to a really early podcast we had when Cottrell was talking about like Super Smash Brothers and like arguing if Kirby was viable or some shit. Like,
that was a bad one.
So are you calling Cottrell a schmuck right now?
Yeah, but in my
Giving him
defense,
some
I'll call
sass.
Cottrell a schmuck to his face. So
That's true.
just in case people think I'm just talking shit. Cottrell gonna listen to this like, you motherfucker. Speaking of, I just forgot to throw this in here because we're on the topic of battle royales and shit. Epic Games will pump 100 million here. I'll throw the fucking link in the shit for you guys. Epic Games is pumping 100 million. I just pasted it into Fortnite esports competitions.
Yeah, they got the money to burn.
I mean, I know they do, but they're talking about the 2018-2019 season.
Nice.
That'll be interesting. I'd watch it. I do watch a couple of streams
there.
every now and then. I watch Stone Mountain.
Like, Stone Mountain's good. Like that, there's so much money still in like Counter-Strike Go and Overwatch. Like it's just gonna roll it right back in. So there's no reason not to.
Well, I think it's cool, like, regardless of what you think about, Battle Royale, but just for the next thing for esports, you know, because we've been watching Dota and League of Legends for let's go back. We've been watching StarCraft for fucking ever, right? And then Dota and League of Legends come along, and then Overwatch is like just taking the world by storm, right? And now, I don't know. This could be arguably a bigger phenomenon than Overwatch.
Fortnite is killing everybody right now. By far, like
so
it is the most streamed program currently from a competitive standpoint.
Yeah, no, for sure, and it's cool. Like it's like,
and I think it's by a pretty big margin too. I can even look right now. Yeah, so in the current Twitch following window, all right. Now there may be a tournament going on, but doesn't matter. The differential here is huge. We've got League of Legends in third at 64,900.
How did you pull that up so fast? Send me the link.
I just went to Twitch. League of Legends is in third at 64,000
actively
viewers
right now.
Right now.
Okay.
League of Legends has 64,900 viewers. currently. PUBG has 74,000 at second place. Fortnite, 274,000.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm seeing it. Dude, I'm
It's-
seeing 275, 409.
There is one individual known as Ninja that has 123,000 people watching him right
That's
now.
because he somehow streamed with Drake.
Yeah, it's disgusting the popularity these folks get, but that's neither here nor there. The fact of the matter is, there's an individual playing Fortnite that is shitting on the entire streaming community
Mm-hmm.
without trying. So, I mean, it's a good game. It's easy to follow, easy to learn. They did it right. They took advantage because fucking Unreal, they're smart. They are super smart, and there's a reason they do well. So
No, for sure. But they're
they're killing it.
They got it. I actually just got into an argument with somebody on the internet against my better judgment. I don't do that. That's like against our rules.
I mean, you just repeat the first part of that
About
sentence to yourself.
versus Fortnite, and I typed 2 responses, like long, like couple paragraph responses, and then after I did it, I hit enter, and then I was immediately
You just
disgusted
felt
with
dirty.
myself.
You just needed to shower.
It's kind of
after
like when you watch porn. And then, you come to your senses, and you're like, ooh, what the fuck did I watch that
What
video
did I
for?
just-
And then you
what
gotta
just
scrub your
happened?
history. It's like, that's how I felt in this online argument. I was like, oh, like,
It's cold shower
what the
time.
fuck? Yeah, dude. Oh my god, it was stupid of me. Oh,
Hey,
shit.
speaking of Fortnite and Epic Games, have you guys all heard the story about about Epic Loot Games? So there's this
No.
little game shop in
Yes!
BFE
I
basically.
did. Go on.
And basically they're called Epic Loot Games, and they
It's
they're
like
just
traditional games. It's like
with-
board games and card
Yeah,
games and
yeah,
shit
yeah.
like that.
yeah, they're just a game shop. And all of a sudden, with the success of Fortnite and the popularity burst, this little game store started getting phone calls, just about like these kids just like bitching at them about like Epic Games Fortnite servers being laggy and shit like that. He's like, at first I wanted to play bartender and just like, sort of talk them down out of their anger, but it started being like hundreds of calls a day. And they had
They
to
said
like
they got like,
screen
like
their
130
calls.
calls or some shit one day. Like,
Yeah, and it's just like people just like, fix your fucking servers, this is bullshit. They're just like, we're just trying to sell some board games, man.
yeah, no, that was I saw that story. I was like, well, that shit happens. Oh man, it just goes to show you like how like gamers like some of these really what do you want? What's the word? Not dedicated, but
Kids,
there's
man.
some fanatics. These young fanatics,
Kids.
like they don't
Yeah.
think it all the way through, and then like that's like they're just calling up these shops, giving all gamers a bad reputation. It's like, oh,
Well,
man.
so not to like date all of us because I'm gonna, but that's a generational thing. Like most of the people that act this way, that do this bullshit, grew up knowing things differently. Like not like we didn't.
Yeah.
We grew up when smartphones just started being a thing.
They
Yeah,
didn't have to wait for the next issue of Cheat Code Monthly.
Yeah, they did. Tell me what a Game Shark is right now, motherfuckers. Like,
But
And-
here's the thing: is they grow up with like the anonymity, basically, of being able to say whatever you want behind a keyboard. Like when we were growing up, if you made a prank phone call and got like star 69, oh shit, you're fucked. Now your parents are gonna know.
yep.
not if you get to the phone first.
Like, oh no, they're gonna call the cops on me. They have my phone number.
Yep.
No.
Now you got fucking teenagers getting sued for TOS violations.
Dude, I just watched. I guess there's this famous guy, X2C. I guess he was playing. I guess he's a famous Overwatch streamer. He got like swatted. Like that's the thing. Like
Oh, that's
They-
been a thing for
I know
a
it's
while.
been a
That's
thing, but like that
scary
still
thing.
just blows my mind. Like that, like they really
Well-
like these kids like get so pissed at
And
other gamers that they
a
call the SWAT
cruelty
team.
factor.
Like I think that's.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's a crime, but I think
Doesn't
isn't that
matter
a
to the
felony?
person. I don't know what the law is on that anymore, because so it became a thing maybe a year or two back, like maybe early, just after 2012, it started becoming a thing that was talked about, and people got swatted. And you'd see these home videos of these streamers, of these players that just get fucking sat on by these SWAT teams, like doors blown off the hinges, jumped by 3 guys in their gaming chair, and they don't know this is happening because they have their headphones, like these big noise canceling headphones on. And suddenly this, dude my size with a beard and SWAT gear on just blows you out of your chair. And not shooting. I don't know if anybody's been shot yet. I don't think so in the swatting. But it's hard to trace back some of that stuff, because not only are these people good enough to find you as a streamer through the internet, they're equally good enough to hide their tracks. Like, easily able to get away with that. So I don't know. It's a thing, and it's not a cool thing. Scary as shit,
unsettling, to say the least. Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to go off a point that Josh had mentioned about 5 or so minutes ago, because we were talking about streaming, and it leads into our next. There's this article about CliffyB, Cliff Blazinski. I can never say his fucking name right.
CliffyB is the correct.
That's what he used to go by, was CliffyB. That's how us and the older generation know him as CliffyB. Josh, you were saying how, like, Ninja has 100,000 streamers. Like, Fortnite has 275,000 streamers right now, and Ninja is hogging 100,000 of them. Like, that's how big. Like, superstar. We got superstar streamers, like on like almost celebrity level streamers, where people are.
Oh, easily, yeah.
Like, it got to, like, all right. So Cliffy, for those of you who don't know who Cliff Blazinski is, he made his name because, like, he made Gears of War, right?
One of the developers, yes.
Well, yes, he was one of the developers who made Gears of War. What else did he do? He worked with Unreal Tournament.
He was at Epic for a long time.
He actually, to his credit, he is part of why Epic is so big, because he really did do a lot of work with Epic Games. And then we talked about CliffyB on the last couple podcasts about how he, with Boss Key Productions, he did Lawbreakers, and then Radical Heights, and then the studio shut down. But back when we were growing up, we knew developers, whereas gamers today know streamers. Like, they don't know the people who make the games anymore.
Well, and to clarify, knowing developers back in when we were playing heavily is a very different thing than what knowing someone is today. Social media wasn't what it used to be. These were just the random, like, game magazines that would have these interviews with these guys, and you'd once in a while get to hear about this cool shit that they're doing, and you'd troll whatever tiny little game sites existed out there to find whatever little piece of information that would come out. So nowadays you're up in these people's lives. Like, it's a whole different ball of wax. But
I think like you're saying, back in the day, it was more of like Nintendo Power would, like, release an article about a person or something, like that's how
Twitter and Instagram were not a thing. Facebook, and it was MySpace for bands. That was pretty much it.
That was like high school.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, we're saying back in my day, and we're not that fucking old. I'm the oldest one here. I'm 33. Like, it's not. Shut up, you shithead.
Get off my lawn, Capil.
Whip out the Gran Torino. I'm just fucking Clint Eastwood, just angry.
Turned me on to Pabst.
Yeah, I know. So yeah, it's a very different scene right now, and I think, and there was a good article about Blazinski, the one that I linked in to you guys, where they talk about how probably a part of his downfall with Lawbreakers and Boss Key was the fact that he was so well known, and there was
There's so much hype riding on his personality.
It wasn't just hype. Like the I'm assuming investors and people that put money behind this were also sitting on that same seat.
I mean, yes and no, but he was advertising, like part of the advertising campaign for the game used his name, like
For sure.
From CliffyB, the guy who brought you Gears of War, the guy who brought you Unreal Tournament, like blah blah, Boss Key Productions, like that was part of the advertising campaign, you know, just like they do it like from the studio that brought you blah 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 blah, you know, like they did the same thing except they used his name specifically. They didn't say Boss Key Productions, they didn't say Epic Games, they didn't, well, I mean, it wasn't Epic, but you know what I'm saying, like,
Yeah. No, for sure, and I think all of that like culminated into this hype, like you said, for a game that, for all intents and purposes, from what I've seen, the like 5 minutes I played it, it could have been great.
it could have been great, but Overwatch.
The choice, yeah, well, not Overwatch. You had PUBG. All the Call of Duties were pretty succinct and in their place. You CS:GO, like it was just not a place for an arena shooter. Like it was just not right for that. And it wasn't from the beginning. When you first heard about this, I'm thinking to myself, "Fuck, there's no way he's gonna make money on this." And I said this too when it was coming out. Like this, just nobody's gonna play it. It looked cool. I wanted it to be good because it felt like Quake and it had a lot of cool shit. But
Quake is back, by the way.
Yep, but Quake is Quake, and that's never going to be a huge moneymaker anymore, but back in the day it was. So, I don't know. It's sad that it's gone under, and Cliff is kind of... I'm going to guess he won't come back to games after this.
I think he will. Like,
I don't know, man, because
I don't think it'll be anytime soon.
For sure, if he does it all, but I don't think he's going to come back at all, simply because we're past the point where he's made his money. He's completely set up for whatever he has in his life and what he's doing. And he said he wants to focus on his family. I get that.
That's true. He did say that. This article's really good.
Yeah. And I don't, after something like this, and maybe he's not a super prideful man. I don't know him personally. This is not something you go and try and develop a whole nother studio around. Plus, it's hard to get backers after something like this. Like, if he's going to do it, it's going to be on his own time.
I think, if anything, you know, like you said, like he said, he's going to take care of his family. He's going to focus on that. I think, if anything, in a few years, he'll dip his toe back in. Not like with his name, but he might notice like an indie studio doing something really cool, or you know, maybe not so much an indie studio, but like a small studio, and he'll give them money and give them backing, and like kind of help produce it, but like, you know, not be on the forefront of it, and just see what happens with then.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just me. Kind of like for instance, a reverse Joe Mad. If you guys don't know who Joe Madwara is, they just did the... Oh my god. What's the fucking name? I just
Battle Chasers.
Thank you. No, is that the name of the game though?
Battle Chasers.
Night War. That's what it's called. I mean, Battle Chasers.
Battle Chasers.
Yeah. But before that though, you know, he's still, and Darksiders 3 is coming out, but he did the Darksiders franchise, but that's not his own studio. That's not Airship Games. That's that's a different studio. But then after the success of that, he was able to make enough money, found his own studio, do the Battle Chasers game, which I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to the Darksiders 3. I don't know. That was just random. Anyway, yes. All right, I'm floundering. Somebody save me.
Joe Mad's got great art style. I love the Darksiders game. Battle Chasers just came out on Switch. I had it. I kickstarted that back in the day when it was first a thing, and he pulled the people from Vigil Games. Great game.
Vigil Games. Thank you, Christ. Well, I knew it wasn't Airship.
No,
I just couldn't think of what it was.
Yep, he took a few select people. I think it was like 12 people total was the size of the studio that built Battle Chasers. And it's been pretty successful. Like it's got a good turnaround. The cost, the overhead for the production was really, really smart and really well done.
Yeah, if you're into like classic like JRPG style gaming, turn-based shit, you'll love Battle Chasers.
It's real good. On Switch too, I from what I've heard, I haven't had a chance to put any time into it. I've been busy with other things. But from what I hear, it plays pretty good. It gets a little rough sometimes when it comes to some of the like heavier load screens, but beyond that, I guess it runs really well. So it's
What
got
do you
good
mean
reviews
heavier
too.
load screens?
Like it has some pretty heavy load times
On the Switch specifically, or in
on the
general?
Switch. On the Switch.
Jesus.
Did I offend you with that?
Well,
No, you didn't offend
while
me. It's just like
while it's stocked.
that's what's holding the Switch back. I think from a lot of these third-party developers is the allure of the console is there. You know, the allure of the console is there, but the processing power, I think, really
So
isn't where it should be.
for a
And
size
I'm
form
pretty
factor,
ignorant. I don't know much about engineering, so like I don't know how
for its
hard it would
size and
be.
form factor, it's incredible. It's an incredible piece of hardware. The
Again,
fact that
like I don't know. I'm an idiot.
the
All right.
fact that they can do what they do in the form factor that they're in is amazing. And Doom is a good example of a well-built game that's tailored to fit on the Switch and play well on the Switch.
I gotta mention too that the Switch performs better while it's docked than in tablet mode.
And why
So
is that?
Power.
Is
yeah,
that
I
what the
mean,
station offers?
The dock gives you direct power source. It doesn't have to revolve around batteries.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, that
I
makes
wouldn't
sense.
say that's all. There's I
Is there
think that
hardware in that dock?
I feel like there is there
For
is
what?
something about, I mean, and maybe it's just that the GPU needs more power to be able to like run better, but like there is specifically, yeah, there's way better benchmarks while it's docked.
Yeah, I think it's a power thing. 'Cause it runs a lot like my laptops and shit. Whenever I have it plugged in, they run way better. Even if I have it on like full on graphics mode and it's not plugged in, it still has more issues. I don't know. I don't know the hardware, but yeah, it does run better that way. Um, the fuck, what was it? Doom is the reason that I bring this up and why I don't think Battle Chaser should have the load times it should if there's an issue. Doom is super well optimized for the Switch,
That's
and
what
it
I
was
heard.
rebuilt specifically for it. And there's like good load times. It's not too bad. It runs super smooth. Yes, you get a texture drop and a resolution drop, but that's to be expected with the hardware differential.
I
Like
mean, Doom is pretty impressive, though.
the Switch
So
Doom
the
looks
fact
damn
that's what I'm
good.
saying. So the fact that they even got it to run on the Switch is
Hmm.
yeah, is ridiculous. Because I looked at that. My PC's not bad, but I'm not gonna be able to run Doom on the highest settings. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So I would say before making your final decision on Doom and stuff too, plug it into the dock and look at it on your TV. Because if you've only ever played that in tablet mode,
Hmm.
I imagine you're going to see a huge difference. Because from what I've heard, things like Skyrim and stuff like that look fantastic on the Switch, but you have to be docked for it.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so I think what it boils down to is the display, number one, and it's kind of like if you guys remember like old Flash games almost. This is probably dating myself also, but if you like right
Newgrounds,
click on
but
if you right click
what?
on a Flash game, you can change to like lower quality and stuff like that. Basically, because of the screen size and B the hardware and
Think
optimizing it,
just
it
pause
runs
for
in a lower version of quality mode.
think about that for a second. Back in the day, we had to choose quality for Flash games.
Gotta have that fast streaming strong bad.
Like what?
Yeah, it's true.
That is
Like
crazy.
like if you had a shitty enough computer,
It's like
you
before
would
high
have to
speed
turn
internet was
down
a
like
thing, people.
the textures would be too much on a Flash game. You had to turn it down because you couldn't load stuff fast enough.
Oh man.
There's too many
Yep.
sprites on screen or something like that. Yeah.
Long live newgrounds.com.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so what do we got? Well, that's
The next part I wanted to talk about. Oh wait, Alex, did you get like closer to your microphone? Your volume shot up.
Sorry.
Was it just me? Did it
No,
seem like
I've
to you,
been
Josh?
I've been moving my microphone a little bit. I'm sorry. I realized that it was like
He was
in
like
my
lips on the
breath
mic.
line, and I was like, oh no, I'm probably like blowing air straight into my microphone, so I
You
moved
were.
it.
No, I don't know. No, it just got really loud for like your last
All right.
when you were talking. You sound
Am I
fine
good
now.
now?
Yeah, you
All
sound
right,
fine
cool.
now. Anyway, Josh brought it up a little earlier. So there's this whole debate going on about the decline of single player games, and it's not really a debate. It is true. There is a significant decline in single player campaign focused games over the past. I mean, I guess this generation really. Last console generation had quite a few, didn't it?
Yeah, the decline kicks in with the onset of micro.
Microtransactions?
Hmm.
How so?
I can almost guarantee it directly coincides because you can't. Micro.
I'm sure there is a
from multiplayer.
correlation.
Micro came from multiplayer originally. That was where you get those microtransactions kicked in.
Yes.
And loot boxes and all that fun shit. And as that grew into like DLC and Kickstarter and all these other fun little shits that you can do to get away with releasing a full game right away, ended up being a less profitable option because everybody and their brother gets longevity and content packs and bonus purchases from multiplayer stuff. Now it's changed a little bit because you get new skins and stuff, but you're never going to make as much money from the micro or the continual like the loop of business from a single player game compared to a multiplayer game. God of War is not going to make as much money as Overwatch has, plain and simple, and that's from micro. So,
Let me add on to micro with games as a service.
Well, but still, it's not.
I guess that came out of micro though. When you think
it did, because the whole point in multiplayer is that you're playing this game to progress, and that progression requires you to expend resources or to earn resources as your reward. That's your MMO loop, if you will, the original micro, quote unquote, monthly subscription. In single player, that's a hard thing to maintain. Like, there's only so many loot boxes I'm going to buy for God of War, because I'm not going to go and try and be bigger and badder than the next guy and like capture the flag God of the War, because that's not a thing.
For those of you who have not played God of War, he's being facetious. There are no loot boxes in God of War.
It's not a thing.
I don't want to alarm you.
I'm just using that as an example of a current single player game that's very, very good, that doesn't like pivot on that. Monster Hunter is a great example of a multiplayer game that doesn't pivot on that and still kicked ass.
Clap back. What? Say it louder for the people in the back.
Yeah, well, see, I can't do that because they decided to give $60 million to the production of a Monster Hunter movie with Mila Jovovich in it and her husband directing.
It hurts me so.
Welcome to the Resident Evil of Monster Hunter, folks. It's gonna suck giant donkey dick.
We'll expand upon that next podcast, because I'm sure Cottrell would love to give his thoughts about that.
Yeah, we're not gonna go down that rabbit hole. Point being, I think God of War proved that you can still have a profitable, wonderful franchise. And I think even before God of War, Horizon Zero Dawn proved it. Like, you don't have to have this massive pile of micro and extras to
Horizon
make
wasn't
a
a
single
multiplayer
player.
game.
No,
Are you talking about
single player game? Yeah, you don't need to have a multiplayer game to have a successful and profitable product.
No, and that's the whole thing, though.
But it's harder to do.
Microsoft has gone on record stating that they're focusing more on the multiplayer games because that seems to be the way that it's trending, and that they don't see the draw in single player games anymore. Whereas Sony, time after time, year after year, is proving that people still love single player games as long as they're done well.
Wow.
And Sony's got studios that are the caliber. Crystal Dynamics, they're doing the Tomb Raider series. We got, obviously, Naughty Dog. They're doing Uncharted. They're doing The Last of Us. We got Sony Santa Monica. They're pumping out this game called God of War. Maybe you heard of it. Like, I don't know.
Also, small pre-thing, I'm currently working on trying to get Nicole as a guest in the podcast. She's an environment artist and game and map designer at Crystal Dynamic.
That would be awesome. We would love to have her.
So I'm working on her. So continue. Sorry.
Sorry, I muted my mic so I didn't get that beer crack. No, I was just saying, Sony's proven time and time again that single player is still a very desirable game. What do I want to say? Genre, not genre. You know what I'm saying though. That's desirable for gamers. However, I'm wondering now, with you bringing up, microtransactions and we're talking about games as a service,
DLC
and all that. It's
video game
when you do
hamburger,
single player, you really gotta have your story fleshed out, nailed down. Like it has to be solid. It has to be good. It has to be for not finished. Like, because you can do some DLC, but it has to be like 90% there to do a single player game. Whereas, you got what I just lost my train of thought.
If you release it and it sucks, it's done. Like,
but with these, all right, let's take Destiny for example. Destiny is the example of a game that really could have been a single player game, a single player shooter. They have all the lore there, they have all this stuff there, but they didn't have a story. So now they get to do this thing with like, oh, we've got 10 years worth of content, a 10-year plan. It's like, no, you don't. You kind of just, got to like, the bubble fucking phase in the writing room and like mapped out a couple of different things, and then you're just like figuring it out as you go, and you're kind of just like leading us on with like breadcrumbs and stuff. And I just think now like studios are realizing that gamers, especially the younger generation, are you can hook them real easy with just a little bit and just give them a little bit here and there while you like are in the background scrambling. You got people like typing as you're like developing on what's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? Like you can do less work and get more money now, I guess is basically.
Yeah, you're not locked into having to deliver a quality product out the gate, and it breeds expansion. Like you can make a lot of money off of micro without having to do as much work. So, and that's kind of the goal. Like I don't fault anybody for that.
Look,
like,
I'm not gonna like gaming has been and always will be a business, and I'm not gonna fault a business for trying to make money. That only makes sense, If it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. Anyway,
Alex, please say something. Make him stop talking.
I mean, you want me to talk about games not making money? Because
no, I actually did have something there, and then I said I got reminded of that rap lyric. And if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. And then I forgot what I was gonna say. No, I think now with microtransactions and DLC, more and more like the board has stepped in. The board of directors and these people who don't know anything about games are all of a sudden making all of the major decisions in games, and I think it's a huge detriment to the gaming community. Am I wrong?
Well, so it's kind of twofold there. You have and games like Horizon, for example, are a great. If I could like inject the GDC talk from their character or their art director about how they developed Horizon Zero Dawn when they came from a small team that did the Killzone games into this massive undertaking, and how they managed the workload versus the people. It's that division between the business side of it and the artistic side of it, because both have to be in sync in order to make a good product. And a lot of times, most cases, they're not, and the business wins over because, let's be frank, the art director doesn't sign the check, so he doesn't get the final say in a lot of cases. That doesn't apply everywhere. Don't go crazy, but it's finding that happy medium between making money and being profitable and being on time, and then the artistic vision. The only company immune to that seems to be Blizzard, because they're Blizzard and they do what the fuck they want, but they're not immune to it. I'm just saying it feels that way. So
they're not immune to it. I just think they've been in the industry for how long now, and they developed some of the biggest franchises in gaming industry.
Even their poor built games, aka when Diablo 3 first came out, still make a massive profit.
And I think everybody Blizzard's like that's just legacy. That's just that's just like, and I think everybody who joins Blizzard is aware of that fact. So that whereas some of these other studios, well, they're not Blizzard. You know what I'm saying? So they don't get. I don't know. You're right. There's just something about Blizzard.
Blizzard has first off fantastic marketing. They're they're they never push a game out that will not be successful. Example, Project Titan. There was something. No. It's not though. It's not even Overwatch.
No, it's not. But they realized, like what you were saying, they realized that Project Titan wasn't good.
They were just not going in the direction that they wanted to, and so they took the entire project and shit-canned it and decided to move that team on to make what is now Overwatch.
Yeah, but they brought a bunch of the characters over. That's where a lot of the character designs came from.
Do you know that?
Yeah.
Are you positive?
I'm 100%
positive. They have stated that.
I missed that. From what I understood is that they completely canned Project Titan.
They totally did, but they took the character concepts and the thematic nuances of it. That's where Winston,
it was an MMO
Tracer, Reaper
originally is how it was planned, and they realized all the things they wanted to do didn't fit well within an MMO, and that's why when they came up with Overwatch.
But your point is still valid. I mean, it's the same point. It's still valid. It's just Blizzard produces a good product and they don't push out a shitty product, even if it burned a ton of money on them, because I'm sure canning Titan was not a financially sound decision. I'm sure they lost money on that deal.
I'm also sure they made all of that money back in Overwatch.
For sure.
Because again, that's just that legacy, baby. You just smell that legacy. It's ridiculous.
And as far as their marketing strategy, do you guys remember when Hearthstone came out?
Again,
closed
very
beta.
popular game.
The closed beta of Hearthstone, there was so much hype for that game because they had streamers.
And how much money that game has made?
What'd they do for the streamers, Alex? I don't remember any of this.
Oh no, so basically when Hearthstone was first they teased it a little bit, and then they released a trailer for Hearthstone, and then they started kind of showing off stuff at BlizzCon, they announced the game, stuff like that. First off, anything around BlizzCon is going to be huge on the internet. And so when they first announced Hearthstone, people were going crazy. They're like, "Oh my God, Blizzard's making a card game. It's going to be so good." And then the closed beta happened at some point where basically they let I want to say maybe 50 tops streamers into the beta. First friends and family of Blizzard staff and mostly Blizzard staff, a couple friends and family and streamers to actually get people watching the game early on. And then that was all thousands of people were watching these streamers play Hearthstone in the beginning. As they started opening up closed beta more and more, people were going legit crazy for Hearthstone beta keys. They were selling on eBay for hundreds of dollars. And
for a beta key?
For a beta key, yeah. Because they wouldn't let
do that for the BlizzCon swag.
They wouldn't let people in it wasn't a big closed beta. So the closed beta was very, very small. But and so people were going crazy about that. And
Hearthstone's cool though. So I don't play a lot of card games. I never got into Magic the Gathering when I was growing up, mostly because I don't know. It was really complicated. It seemed really complicated to me. Also, I don't have money. I can't afford to fucking dump money into that, right?
Yeah.
The art
And it
is
is not a
ridiculous,
cheap thing to do.
no, but mostly though that it just seemed too complicated for me to learn. I don't know anything about the lore and the universe. It's like it's got its whole own thing, and there's a couple of card games out there like that. But I remember when Hearthstone came along, and I played it a little bit every now and then. I'm really bad at card games, just like I'm really bad at turn-based games. I'm I'm actually really bad at a lot of games, but um, Hearthstone though I stuck with longer than most card games because it goes back to what we were talking about Diablo or not Diablo Blizzard and its legacy is I grew up playing Blizzard games. You know, I know the StarCraft franchise, I know the Warcraft franchise, I know the Diablo franchise, and a lot of those. Or I mean, I know Hearthstone's all Warcraft, but you know, I grew up with that kind of stuff, so I was really into the Blizzard lore. So when Hearthstone came out, I I wasn't in the back. I was like, oh no, I understand what these cards are. I understand what that character is. I understand why it the move does why it does. Like that makes sense to me. So I was able to kind of like grasp on because I got obviously the Blizzard art is fucking awesome, and like I'm an artist myself, so like it had an awesome art style. I was familiar with the lore, so for me I was like, this is a great jumping on point. This is a card game I'm gonna get into, and it's not overly complicated when you're playing it. And on top of that, because it's digital, which you don't get with the physical card games, you can unlock different cards by playing their campaigns and all that kind of stuff. And for someone like me who's not like a fanatic and a dedicated player, I think that's really cool, and that's something that they really were. I don't know how am I want to say that. I don't know. They opened it up to a lot of different players that I don't think other card games could.
It was much more accessible than Magic the Gathering was.
Accessible.
Because
Jesus Christ.
It's more approachable for somebody who's never played a card game before because it's not dumbed down but more simple. It was
streamlined is what it is.
Yeah, it was when it came out.
Blizzard is are the kings.
That's what Alex just called me dumb.
Blizzard are the kings of making a game that is easy to learn and hard to master.
It just goes back to what he said. It's accessible, and I wish, he is right. I am dumb. I should have thought of that word, and I can't.
I'm not calling you dumb, but I mean, as far as compared to Magic the Gathering, it's the learning curve is it's way more it's more of a shallow learning curve.
Yeah, it's
you can
not
get in.
Steep. It's not
you
steep.
can get in and be competitive. Also because like they have a really good matchmaking system, pairs you up with somebody around your same level of skill, and there's a lot of players. So it's not like when you get into Magic the Gathering and your friend who's been playing it for 15 years is like, hey, come on, I'll show you how to make a deck, and then he just fucking destroys you because he's been playing Magic forever.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
No, I'm just having a flashback to when I tried to play Magic the Gathering. And Joe Marshka and Nick Keene fucked my day up. I say those names because they were my friends and they listened to this podcast.
They were your friends.
They were my friends.
They killed you at Magic.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah. No, that's about all I had as far as news goes.
I actually have two things.
All right.
List. Yeah. First off, a little bit of a rant here. No Man's Sky, big multiplayer update. Welcome to sucking again, folks.
You know what? I don't even know why. I think subconsciously, I just try not to think about that game. So I didn't even write it on the notes, but I did see the update. We did talk about it.
The next update will launch July 24th.
I'm playing Avorion now, No Man's Sky. You fucked up.
You fucked up because Avorion gives us everything.
Although, I can't go on planets. So
oh, darn. Because Avorion has so little to do.
Yeah. Anyway, keep going about No Man's Sky.
Point being, and I'm going to keep it short because I could rant on this. I'm not going to. But motherfuckers are going to make some more promises. It's going to be, oh, look, I played for 20 minutes and the gameplay loop is shitty and tiny and I'm just going to not play this again and uninstall it.
If you still play No Man's Sky, they are actually releasing an official multiplayer update I forget if they said June or July. But
July
it's coming out very
24th.
soon. July 24th, so it might as well be August.
Yeah.
They are releasing an official multiplayer update. I know there were some other things in the notes. I didn't read all of them. We'll see. We'll see what it does.
Yeah, I don't know.
I want to see. I don't care about the multiplayer. I want to know what else they're doing, and I need to go and read it, because my whole part is like what like Ivorian is allowing me to do is like be a fucking space pirate and like do some shit and like whatever.
It's got
I
a
can't
big
do
gameplay
anything.
loop with lots of different loops to go to run off of, where No Man's Sky has nothing.
For sure. What was your second one?
The second one is actually, this goes into kind of the field me and Alex are currently working in right now. We work in training, and this will go to our later conversation of what Alex and me have been up to this month, or what we just started last week, and actually what I'm doing while we're talking on this podcast. There's a game that is killing it on Steam right now, and it is a home repair simulator.
Oh, Tim the Two-Man Taylor. What's up?
It is a house flipper thing where
She
you
doesn't
literally
know
go
what it
in
is.
and
What's the game? What's the name?
I think it's called House Flipper.
House Flipper.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it is.
Yeah, but as I was watching this trailer and reading this article, they're showing you how to set up a proper light socket, like how to wire this, positive, negative ground, door framing, taking down walls, all this fun shit that is accurate to my knowledge. I'm not a great
What is
handyman or
Apocalypse
contractor.
Flipper DLC?
I don't know what that is. I didn't go beyond the article, so there may be a bunch of shit.
Oh no, I'm on Steam.
Yeah.
They have DLC. That's free.
It's free DLC.
And all it shows is a kitchen, explosions, and bombs in the same picture.
God, dude.
But the point is, this thing's killing it, and it's seems like a fun educational game, which is pretty awesome, especially from a game development standpoint, because making something that you learn from
these graphics
that is
are pretty
fun.
good.
Yeah.
It actually
Making
looks
something
really
that's
well
fun,
done.
that you gain actual usable real world knowledge, especially from like a house improvement or construction standpoint. Holy shit, that's like some innovation right there, because I'm sorry, fucking Math Ships and Mavis Beacon could go suck a dick.
Fuck Mavis Bacon.
Like
Jesus.
Mavis Bacon.
Math Blaster? Remember Math Blaster?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Like, games for learning in giant fucking Mickey Mouse finger quotes with a middle finger at the end. Like, it's not fun stuff to do most of the time.
Oh,
this seems to have done it.
Speaking of wiring, Alex, remember like a month or two ago, when I called you because I got a drone and I was trying to fix the one rotor, or propeller?
Yeah.
So we finally figured it out, and it took us forever. So 3 of the rotors are actually spinning in the wrong direction, and only one is spinning in the right direction. So that's why it doesn't levitate. The problem is I know nothing about wiring or engineering, and I have no idea how to fix it.
Yeah,
so maybe I should play this game and learn about wiring.
This will probably not help you, but Alex could on a video call.
Yeah. But House Flipper actually looks really cool. So I'm gonna add that to my wish list right meow.
It kind of floored me, actually, and it's a cool thing, especially for people this day and age, where trade skills, construction, actual working with your hands, knowing how to turn your fuse box on and off, apparently is a hard thing for people.
Though I'm pretty sure my wife would probably have a problem with me playing this game before I actually replace the hardwood floors in my bedroom like I'm supposed to.
Well, how long have you been telling her you were gonna do it?
What?
Eventually.
Yeah, I mean, when a man says he's gonna do something, he's gonna do it. There's no need to remind him every 6 months about
it. So I think that was the only other one I had, was those two. But I think that leads us into, what have we been playing?
Well, Josh, you got me hyped last week, so I bought Ivorian, and now...
Yeah.
Oh, here, I finished God of War.
Nice.
Because I felt bad because I was playing Ivorian, and I hadn't finished God of War, so I went and finished that game. I ranted about that game last week. I'm not going to rant about it again. If you didn't hear it last week, basically I was upset about the pacing and the RPG system in the game. Other than that, the story, the design, the story is fucking awesome. All right, the story is awesome. I'm pumped. They left it open for a sequel. Obviously, that's not a fucking spoiler. No, so I'm pumped to see where they take the franchise. I've done I didn't look it up, but I know from what other people have told me, I've done most of the side quote unquote quests. They're called like favors. Then there's what you have are labors, which is like different like goals. Like can you kill like 50 people on fire while doing this other requirement. Like, there's a whole bunch of labors and like a whole bunch of other side things you can collect. I'm not really worried about all that. However, there are some Valkyries that are possessed or something. And then those are like these crazy ass fights. And then there's an arena I'll mess with. But it's not at the top of my to-do list. But then I got into this game called Avorion that Josh got me into. And Josh,
that's $17 someone can spend.
It's good.
$18.
It's good,
Yeah.
Especially for a 3-man development team.
Mm-hmm.
That's just crazy. Oh, by the way, today I built and destroyed 2 ships while trying to get back to my ship. I eventually got it. But yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I cracked one. I just did what you did, except on a much smaller scale. I made a ship, I hit an asteroid, just broke that shit.
Yep. So, Kapil, when we started playing a little while back, when he first got it, decided to start a faction war, and it just escalated.
By the way, that area is still going hard.
Just popping. Yeah.
That my other ship, the first. Oh no, they shot my drone. Like, I was trying to just like mosey on by to the gateway, and they're like, "Nope, it got you." Boop. I was like, fuck.
Yeah. No,
so that's when I built a ship, because I was like, "Oh man, if they see my drone again, one shot and I'm dead." So I was like, "You know what? Let me just build a fucking ship just to get to my other ship." Well, I built that ship horribly because there's actually a lot of factors that come into play when you build a ship.
Mm-hmm.
Not only about like what you put in your ship, but the size and the placement of certain things that you put in your ship completely affect like the handling and the turn,
flight
like all
dynamics.
of it. Like there's got some physics in there, and
Your
it turns out I don't know
ability
shit
to-
about physics, and I crashed into an asteroid is what happened. I couldn't stop. I couldn't turn. It was just like, well, I like remember Austin Powers? I don't know if it was the first one or the second one, but remember when he was driving the steamroller or something, and the one dude was just standing there screaming? Like, it was like that. Like, I just watched it happen, and I couldn't do anything.
I think it was it was the steamroller. I was thinking it was a Zamboni, but I think that's something else.
No, that's what they use on the ice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I destroyed 2 ships. Finally got it. Finally got my stuff back, Josh. And now I'm just trying to figure out what to do next.
Yep. You get shields yet?
Nah.
No, you ain't deep enough. Gotta get on that nanite.
I don't know how to get it. All I can get is
Gotta go
titanium lasers.
Gotta go deeper.
I can't go deeper.
You can. So
I guess I
titanium
can.
lasers can farm nanite.
That makes no sense.
Yeah, no. So mining lasers can do their same type and 1 level above them.
That actually does kind of make sense.
Yeah.
That's okay. We must go deeper. All right. Yeah. So I've just been playing Avorion and finished God of War. That's about it. That's about all I'm at.
So for me, haven't been playing much of anything. I played maybe an evening of Ark just to decompress, but I came to this wonderful realization over the weekend that I haven't been a real artist in 3 years and put ZBrush back in, and it's been kicking my ass left and right. Me and Alex are currently in a game jam for work, and we're creating a couch game, a little shooter type doodad that we can go into detail. But I've pretty much been living in ZBrush trying to become an art boy again.
Trying to become competent?
Yeah, no joke. Like, it is...
For those of you who don't know, ZBrush is a modeling program used to make both low and extremely high resolution cinema quality, video game quality, obviously, computer generated models, and it's a beast of a program. It is not easy to learn. It's not easy to learn, and it's even harder to master.
And the new stuff with 2018 has blown my mind. Like I was 2 years behind on my software. I was using 4R7. They're out of the R's. They were like 4R7 and a bunch of iterations, and then 4R8 and a bunch of iterations. Now they're just like, fuck it, it's the year now, 2018 ZBrush.
Oh
go.
yeah, you were saying, it's like, why didn't they just do that before?
I don't know. It doesn't matter. Point being, it's nuts.
Speaking of calling things by the years, I saw this thing on Reddit where this kid was at a Goodwill with his dad, and he's like, "Dad, look, FIFA 99. I thought they only went up to 18."
Ooh.
And it was on PlayStation 1.
Oh, that hurts so much.
My chest?
Okay.
What if I just had a heart attack on this podcast?
I mean, if we're going by ratios, you're the most likely right now.
Yeah, like
Damn.
I'm a close second though. I'll say that.
oh my god.
Yeah.
But
Sorry, I didn't mean to derail you.
no, you're good. I was done. I've been.
No, like I
So-
keep thinking about getting back into ZBrush, but then I got this other thing called Photoshop. Actually, Josh, going off what you were saying about getting back into the art thing, I got commissioned to do a pet portrait, and I hate pet portraits. I just can't. I don't. Mostly because, and it's mostly my fault. I don't know animal anatomy all that well, and it really shows in my pet portraits. You know, so I was really but the premise was cool. I normally don't like pet portraits. I normally won't take them on, but this guy, the client was my cousin, and he's paying me money, so I need that. And two, it was a pet portrait, but it was like he was basing it off of these paintings he saw. It was like dogs in military uniforms, but he wanted his dog in like a suit or whatever. And he sent me a bunch of like reference images to this other painter who is amazing. Like they look natural, like naturalistic portraits. Just like the presidents and generals. Like that's what they look like, except dogs. And he was like, I want that. I was like, it's not gonna look exactly like that. It ain't gonna be on that level, but I could put your dog in a suit. Like I could do that. Yeah, that's about where I was at with that pet portrait.
Nice.
It was rough.
Yeah.
It just ends up looking like a BoJack Horseman character.
I mean, it was a little higher quality than BoJack.
It's like got human hands and legs. There's the dog head.
No. That's why I cropped it, baby. That's why I cropped it. I cropped it at the elbows, son. Just like
Nice.
chest level. Like, you couldn't tell. I didn't have.
Yeah.
No, I try
It's a
not
bust.
to draw.
Dog bust.
I try not to draw heads if I don't have to. That's every artist. Ask any artist. Unless you're doing a 3D model, if you're a 2D artist, you try to draw as little hands, least amount of hands as possible.
No, dude. Even 3D artists will just make busts of characters because they don't want to draw
True.
hands.
You're not wrong. You're not
They don't
wrong.
want to sculpt hands. Like, no, that part's hard.
Just here's a square.
Well,
And it's
well,
not
I'm
very
over
gratifying.
Well, I'm over here smashing my face into trying to get this bust to look right, and I'm failing miserably.
You're making a bust now?
Damn it.
The character guy.
I ignored the face. I've just been making the body really quick
Nice.
during the podcast. But also, Kapil, I may have a nice Photoshop alternative that apparently is really, really good.
We have spoken, I think, about but Photoshop. This is more of a private conversation. It has nothing to do with
Yeah,
gaming.
this
We can
is
talk
not
about this
podcast.
later. Alex.
Yeah,
point
what's
being,
good?
we more. So
So I bought Destiny, Destiny 2 for $12 on that humble
That's
monthly.
right. You
deal.
did say you bought that. And you started playing it. Where you at? Did you beat the campaign?
No, shut up, dude. God, I have barely touched the game. No. So here's what happened.
Oh.
So here's what happened.
What
I've
had happened
been
was-
trying to get through. I've been trying to get through Destiny, I like the game, but I want to be able to enjoy it and watch the cinematics and not get frustrated with it and like try and skip through everything really quick. Because you know, it seems like it's a cool game. The narrative is cool. You know, the only thing that bothers me is that like the cinematics are live rendered. They're rendered in real time. You know, it's in the game engine, but for some reason they cut it down to 30 frames per second.
No, you haven't.
Like
Wait, on the PC?
on PC, yeah, yeah. The for whatever reason, I get like 120 frames per second in Destiny, but in the cinematics, it gets cut down to 30 frames per second.
Interesting.
That's a weird thing for me. So like, not only is like lighting and aliasing jittery, but like background elements, like when a ship flies past you, it's just like watching like it with a strobe light or something. Um, but the biggest thing for me is like I want to take my time so that I'll actually watch all the cutscenes, because if I'm playing Destiny for more than like an hour at a time, I'm just gonna start skipping cutscenes and get impatient with the game. So yeah, I've been taking it kind of slow.
Well,
Um,
luckily there's not too many cutscenes.
yeah, I don't know. I just got into the second world, I think, like Nasus or something like that.
Yeah,
Um,
Nessus. I think it's Nessus. Yeah,
yeah,
I know what you're talking about.
something like that.
Is that the
Anyway,
is that the water one? Water World? Kevin Costner?
I don't know.
Spoilers.
Maybe.
What?
It might be Kevin Costner. I was telling, I'm playing with my buddy Justin. I was like, that guy kind of sounds like Nathan Fillion,
No, I'm
but
not saying Kevin Costner's in the game. Water World? You didn't get the reference? All right, never mind.
no, I'm sorry.
There's a
I
Um,
got you.
movie.
I
Thank
got
you.
you. I
Thanks,
knew.
Josh.
I knew what it was.
All right.
anyways,
Hey, who doesn't like to jump behind a boat and act as bait?
Hey. All
yeah.
right.
So,
Yeah.
but no, most of my time has been spent working on the game jam. I got real into it. I, uh,
Yeah, he
I
threw
feel
down.
like I've kind of been, just doing my job thing to make money, and it's not game development. So I finally got home, and I've been getting deep into it, and it's fun, man. It's a blast. We did some play testing last night, which
You
was
guys can send me the game. I'll play test it.
yeah, I mean, so it is a
He's like,
local
nah.
Yeah.
multiplayer game. So you need two Xbox controllers to play it, and you need at least one other person. Um, the reason I said like we needed a playtesting night is because it's I don't have networking capabilities just yet. And so having like people over at my house or in the same place with controllers to play it is very important. But yeah,
Guess
it's a
I'll
lot of
hop on a
fun.
plane to Florida.
Get
Ooh.
Yeah,
it.
come on over.
Get it.
Come on
Actually,
over, dude.
I'm about to. I hate Philadelphia.
Come on
And
over,
I hate
dude.
Florida, so it all works out in the end.
We gotta find a place where we could just all go. Let's go to the West Coast.
Yeah, all
Let's
right.
just go win the lottery and we'll
Let's
make
all split a studio apartment together.
a
Yeah.
I'll try and get the bed.
Yeah. Let's see who's gonna win that arm wrestling
It'll be me.
match.
Yeah.
But no, it was really fun. Like, it was smooth and quick matches. If they lasted more than 12 seconds, was 10, 12 seconds, it was surprising. And that was awesome. That was one of the best things about it. Is it's quick, it's fast, it's funny, it's hilarious. It's really, really good. So once I can become a real boy again and give him some art assets. So Alex is developing the game.
Yeah, we need to do that.
We put the concept together in like a car ride, honestly, and then he's been building on all of that and creating this amazing platform for us to build a game. Now I have to get him art assets so we can make this thing look dope. So
Yeah, I think, I mean, I'm not necessarily a successful game developer, other than, I make games sometimes and it's fun. But I think one of the most important things to me is, like, I think we've probably talked about in the past, is, before before we even bother throwing art at the game is to just make it a game that is fun to play and that feels good.
Yes, gameplay is important. I wish more developers understood this.
Yeah,
And that's where we started. Like we sat in a car and we came up with this idea, and we've been iterating on it in different capacities throughout the last few weeks. And Alex and me and another friend of ours, Walker, have been putting in input, and then Alex has been refining it. And don't let him be modest, folks. He's fucking good. So.
Oh shucks.
Yeah.
Oh shit! You made a blush.
Blushing through my headphones right now.
There it is. But no, it's fun. It turned out really well, and I think we're gonna have. So my goal, and it may be a bad driver. I just want to make everybody else at the studio be like, "Fuck, 2 guys did this."
They're gonna make the next Overwatch, people. What?
Yeah, it is a lot of fun. It's definitely going to be a good couch game, for sure. I think in whatever capacity we end up finishing this game, it's going to be. I think it'll be fun to play.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, we look forward to it, and when they finish it, we will post the link on the Diamond Bomb Squad.
We'll do a let's play.
We'll do a let's play. Yes. Wait. I mean, if you get the networking, yeah.
Either way, yeah. We'll figure out.
You two can do the let's play yourselves, but I would love to also join in if you can get networking working. Networking.
Cool.
Yeah.
Networking working.
But yes, definitely do a let's play of you two playing it, for sure. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. The game excels with like 4 players. So if we absolutely can't figure out networking, or it's too hard, whatever, it just means we haven't had enough time to work on it. So we'll get there one day.
Is there anything stopping you from working on the game after the game jam?
No. We're gonna continue.
Exactly. So even if you don't get it working for the game jam, you can get it done.
Yeah. No, I'm not planning on getting it working for the game jam because that's not not in scope. But we will do a let's play at some point, whether it's just local and we have 2 randos sitting in. We'll do it.
Oh shoot.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, you know what? Get Shane's ass down there.
Yeah. We need to fly you out.
Fly me out, and we'll get Shane down there, and we'll do this let's play.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Actually, you could get Sarah. Sarah's still in Florida.
Yeah.
She's a friend from college.
She's just far away though. She's nowhere near us.
That's true, but I'm sure she would come down and kick it with y'all.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we do know more than just each other.
Actually, fun fact is the first indie game I started working on. I decided, all right, I need a name to work under, so my like game studio name was Suckerbird Games.
Yep.
Is that how that came about?
Bird. Yeah. And so and so for the splash screen, I made a splash screen animation, and I have Shane Skelly in the background just saying Suckerbird.
Jesus.
Yeah. It's pretty good.
Shane.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think it's about time we wrap this up.
All right.
Good one.
What? Oh.
It was a good one.
Oh, yes. Twas indeed.
Yeah.
Twas indeed. Hopefully, Cottrell can join us next week. Don't forget to... you know what, Alex?
Yeah.
If they want to have more quality content, what should they do?
What's that?
Oh, my God.
You cut out.
You cut out.
Oh, did I? Damn it.
Yeah.
Alex, if they want more quality content, what do they do?
Oh, you better smash that like and subscribe button on our YouTube at youtube.com/diameridianbobsled / Creed
It's what? That's not even our YouTube link. I'll post it in the description, people.
Click the link in the doobly doo. It'll forward you to the Dimeridian Bomb Squad YouTube channel, Instagram channel, podcast channel, Twitch TV. We got Twitter, we got Tumblr, We got everything you need.
We're
Facebook,
just gonna give you
Netflix.
a like PayPal account. Just send the check.
Send us money,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah, click that donut button.
Click that donut button.
Yeah. It's a donate button, but it's in the shape of a donut, and it literally just buys us
donuts. Did you try to
donuts.
say donate, but you said
it's
donut?
not-
Is that what just happened?
No.
on
You
purpose.
you actually donate donuts to us.
Yeah, it's
So
not,
it's
you
the
can't give us money.
donut-shaped donate button, but
Yep.
it's only for donuts.
Yeah,
Say
so
donut, donate, like 5 times fast.
Yeah. No. Nah.
You did, yeah.
Don't eat the donut donates.
Oh my god. Alright, tune in next week. Another episode of Diamond Bomb Squad. Thanks for listening to us. We'll see you again.
Peace.
Yeah.